right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking your time to join this webinar. And for those who are tuned in for the first time to my webinar, and for those who don't know me, my name is Bob Mwiti, and I'm the Managing Director and CEO of the International Scholars Program. I'm so happy to be here today to share with you our permanent residency pathway. All right, so today specifically we'll be talking about the EB2-NIW. And for those who have been following us on social media and me on social media, I believe we've seen us making a lot of noise about this pathway. We call it elective on our side. And that's really what we're going to be talking about. So basically, what we are trying to come up with is a pathway where if you are out there as a permanent resident, if you are out there as a skilled professional, you can be able to relocate to the United States as a permanent resident, all right? Now, and you can be able to do that through something called the EB2-NIW, okay? In this webinar, I'll be talking more about what this is all about, okay, what it entails, who qualifies, okay, and how can you get into the program, all right? All right, good. Now, so when you talk about EB2-NIW, this is basically a visa category under the EB. EB basically means employment-based category 2. That is what EB2 means. Employment-based category 2, national interest waiver. Okay. Employment-based category 2, national interest waiver. That's what EB2-NIW mean. And the US government allocates 40,000 EB2 visas every year. Okay, so EB2 visas or green card is basically a visa for highly skilled immigrants. Okay, people have so much value to the US economy. All right, so the US, they are very, okay, well, see, the US is a country that has largely been built by immigrants, and they normally also encourage highly skilled people because highly skilled people, they are valuable to the economy. Okay, so for example, I came to America as a student, okay, and after I was done with studies, I got a skilled visa to stay here, which is called H-1B visa. It's a temporary visa for 3 years and a further 3 years that you can extend. And then after that, you can get a green card if you find a company that is willing to sponsor you. That's actually how I got my permanent residency here in the US. Okay, I currently live, by the way, I didn't tell you, I currently live in the US in a state called Florida, in a city called Tampa. Okay, and I came here as a student in 2009. So I've been here for the last 16 years. Then after being on a student visa, I transitioned to a skilled worker on an H-1B visa, which is a temporary visa for the first 3 years. Then after that, I was able to file my green card sponsored by an organization that I was working for. I used to work as a systems analyst. Okay, so typically also skilled professionals out there in the world. I'm not even talking about those who are in the US. Okay, even those who are out there in the world who want to come to America as permanent residents, they only have two options mostly. They can come as maybe if they win the green card lottery, which is a long shot, right? So you can imagine the odds of winning a green card. They are very long. So somebody can come typically on a DV lottery, okay? If you win the lottery, or if you find a company that is willing to sponsor you. That's usually typically how people will come as permanent residents. But actually, in 1990, the US government created this EB2-NIW because they realized also there's people out there, there's really good, highly talented, skilled professionals out there that may not be able to get a company that could potentially sponsor them to come here as permanent resident. And they created a pathway where one can petition the US government to give them a green card without necessarily having a sponsor. They created this EB2-NIW was created in 1990 under the Immigration Act. All right. So that people who are highly skilled, they can petition the US government to give them a green card because of the fact that the skills and the talent they have is so valuable to the US government. Like it's something that whatever they possess is very valuable to the government or to the economy. All right. So it's in the best interest. So basically, the petition is like this. You petition the government, the US government, telling the US government that whatever talent you have, whatever skills you have, if they give you the chance to come here, it's actually in the best interest of the US government. Your skills and your talent is of national interest to America. Make sense? So if this resonates with you, okay, and if you get what I'm trying to talk about, you can always give me a thumbs up. You can also give me a thumbs down if you don't understand, all right? You can also ask questions in the chat, okay, so that our team can also be able to answer some of those questions. I have a team here from the International Scholars Program that is helping out with managing your questions and all that. But also, I want you guys to stick to EB2-NIW. I know we have other pathways. For example, we help students to come here and things like those. We have other pathways that we're introducing about cultural exchange. Today's webinar, I just want to talk about the EB2-NIW. So please keep your questions to EB2-NIW. Are we together? So if this makes sense to you, please let me know in the chat. I always like engaging my audience because also I don't want to end up looking like I'm just talking without, without anyone understanding anything. Okay, because also the EB2-NIW thing can be a little bit technical. Okay, are we together, guys? You know, there's no one even saying anything on the chat. This is getting me worried, eh? Okay, all right. So the challenge is usually that with this EB2-NIW thing, actually not many people know about this. Even those people in America, even me, for example, when I came here as a student, I had no idea that there was actually something like this. I had no idea. And people out there don't really know much about it. All right. People don't know much about it. All right. I can see people are saying this makes a lot of sense. I'm following that. This is news to me, but really good news. All right. That's good. Fantastic. Okay. So let's go to an overview and key features of EB2-NIW. So like I said, this is a special immigration provision under the EB2 category. So, and I said EB2 category is basically an employment-based category, level 2. And NIW is part of that. So it's basically a subcategory of EB2 category. Let's put it that way. And the good thing, the key features or the main feature of this pathway is the fact that you don't need a sponsorship. Okay? You don't need a sponsorship. So it's under the EB2 category, which is second preference. And there is a waiver. So that is what it's national interest waiver. So this pathway waives, it bypasses labor certification and employer sponsorship. Now, let me explain a little bit about that. So for example, so like me, I got my green card through employment. So I had a company that was willing to sponsor me. All right. I had a company that was willing to sponsor me. And like I said, mostly that's how you would get a green card, through employment. Now, that process of getting a green card through employment is a very long process that requires labor certification through the Department of Labor, the US Department of Labor. So in fact, actually, that labor certification currently, it can take up to 2 years to get through. Basically, a company will have to show that they tried to hire an American with the skills that you have, and they could not find one. And that's the reason why they want to hire you. So that's what labor certification entails. It's a very rigorous process that companies have to go through to hire somebody under the EB2 and EB3. EB3 category is pretty much for skilled workers, but those who don't have advanced degree. Okay, they don't have advanced degree, for example, like a master's. All right, okay. Now, like I've said, it's a very long process that companies and individuals who are going through that green card process have to go through when you need a sponsorship. But the good thing about this EB2 and NIW, it basically bypasses that process, because you are telling the US government, please give me a green card because I don't have any sponsor, but my skills, okay, my skills are your asset. So because of the skills that I have, it's in the best interest of you as the US to give me the green card. That basically, in a layman's language, this is what it's all about. Okay, this is what it's all about. And like I said, a lot of people really don't know about this. And in fact, actually, as I can see from the chat, a lot of people are saying, oh, you know, I heard this I heard about this basically from you on your social media post and all that. Yeah, actually, most people maybe who are attending this, they've heard about this from our social media, you know, posts. All right. I didn't know this actually when I came here in America as a student. I came to know about later on, even after I had already started my own green card process. Okay. And this is actually applicable for those who are currently in the US. I know we have a huge community here also those who are also a part of this webinar or attending the webinar. It also covers them. If you're here in the US, or if you're out there and you want to come to the US as a skilled professional. So this is for you. Now, the other key feature of this is that you can actually come with your spouse and kids who are below 21 years of age, which is a good thing. All right. So you can come here not just alone, you come here as a family. All right. Now, because this process is you have to petition the US government, all right, to give you that green card, to approve you to get a green card and come here as a permanent resident. So you have to petition yourself. That process is really what we have to guide you through, including other benefits, of course, of being part of International Scholars Program. And we'll go through that later on in this webinar. All right. Fantastic. Awesome. So let's keep going. Now, for those who don't know, this is our mission and our vision. So basically what we are trying to do, so for those who know us for a very long time, I know I have a lot of new followers on my social media platform. I think right now I have almost like 200,000 followers. It's quite a huge number. So there's, of course, people who don't know even what we used to do before. So for the last 8 years, actually, we as the International Scholars Program, we used to bring students to come and study here. Graduate students, master students. We'd finance them. We'd help them with the whole process of relocating and, of course, settlement here, and help them grow career-wise once they are here in the US. All right. So that's what we've been doing for the last 8 years. But from January 1st, 2026, we are expanding the program into other pathways. And with that, actually, we also had to update our mission. So our mission is basically to empower exceptional scholars to unlock their dreams abroad by creating pathways to limitless global opportunities. And in fact, actually, the pathways that we are creating, it's not just for the US, by the way. Just wanted to make it very clear to everyone that we'll be having different destinations. Okay, of course, US is our biggest market currently, but as a program, we want to expand to various destinations. So once from January 1st, you can come to our website, you'll be able to pick which destination that you want to go to. For example, if you want to go to the UK, there's pathways for the UK, one permanent residency, academic, cultural exchange, and stuff like that. So we'll be having different destinations. So currently we are pushing to have UK. Of course, the US remains our big market. Also, we'll be having Canada and Australia. And of course, we'll keep on expanding as the program grows. Right? So basically, that's really our mission. Now, for the US is really where we have this permanent residency pathway through the EB2-NIW. All right. As we move along, we'll be able to create other permanent residency pathways for different countries. For example, Canada, there's something called Express something. So also we'll be creating something like that. There's also something for Australia. We'll also be creating something for Australia, but it will take time. But for now, from January 1st, once you go to our website, you will be able to download our program handbook for the permanent residency for the US destination. And that will have the EB2-NIW information. Now, our vision is basically to build a community of exceptional scholars who can make a lasting impact in the world. So this is basically what we are creating. Even when I started this International Scholars Program in 2018, the vision was basically, I could clearly see how we could have a huge community here in America or here in the diaspora of really bright people that can do some fantastic stuff back home and anywhere across the world. That was my vision from day one. All right, from day one, when I started the International Scholars Program, that has never changed. And whatever pathways that you are creating, they are in line with the vision that I had when I started the International Scholars Program in 2018. All right, makes sense. So let's move quickly to the next slide. So I'll talk about what really ISP brings to the table. Okay, our value proposition. Okay, and like I said, guys, if you really have any questions, have any concerns, please put that on the chat. Our team will be more than happy to answer you. Some of the questions where our team will not be able to answer, because also this is entirely new also to our team, I'll be more than happy to answer those questions later on. All right. So if you want me to answer the questions directly to you, I'll be happy to do that for you guys, because I know this is something and that's really why I have this webinar. Yeah. So I want everybody to understand how this EB2-NIW works. That's the purpose of this webinar, for everyone to understand how it works, so that when you leave this webinar today, you will have all the information that you need. All you need is basically to wait until January. We launch the program, and so that you can download our program handbook. But pretty much everything that we'll be discussing today is what you'll be able to find on our website. Okay. Now, talking about launching, let me say this. This is actually a pathway that we've been running as a pilot. So by the time we roll out something as a company, what we normally do is we run pilots. Okay, so we work with people who are interested in something, go through the whole process with a chosen number of people, and make sure that the process is working before we can confidently roll it out. Okay, so if something is not tested, there is no way that I would have the confidence actually to go out there and talk to people and tell them, oh, you know what, there's this and this and this, and it works. We don't work like that for us here at the International Scholars Program. So we run a pilot first. We don't tell anyone. We keep on running the pilot. We reach out to people, tell them, hey, there's this and this and this, and we can help out. See whether it works or not. Then after that, we start now making noise about it and inviting other people to participate in the program. So basically, that is the stage that we are at right now. We had already run pilots. We had cases that were approved, and we are very confident that we can actually be able to roll out this pathway for the rest of the world. All right. All right. So also, for those who are asking, I think somebody is asking about our website. Our website is basically www.internationalscholarsprogram.com. Program, you spell it as P-R-O-G-R-A-M. If you go to our website right now and you're interested in EB2-NIW, you won't be able to find anything there about EB2-NIW, because currently the website is structured for students, master's students, because that is what we've been doing for the last 8 years. But from January, once you get to that website, you'll be able to see all the pathways, all right? And you can be able to download the program handbook for whatever pathway you are interested in. Okay. All right. So I just want to make it very clear for anyone who is going to our website right now and trying to figure out, okay, where is this pathway? Where is this EB2? No, it's not there at the moment. But from January 1st, all right, from January 1st, you'll be able to see all that information. All right, good. So what is really our value proposition? So through ISP, we'll be able to offer strategy and guidance. Like I said, this is a self-petitioned initiative, and it's a very complicated thing if somebody is doing it on their own. So we'll be there to offer expert strategy formulation customized to your field. All right. We'll talk a little bit about who is qualified, what kind of skills. We'll talk a lot about that. But for now, let's talk about what value proposition ISP offers to our members. So also, part of what we do is we'll help with the comprehensive petition assistance. All right. Remember, we said this is a self-petition. So we don't want you to figure things out by yourself. All right. We'll be there for you. We'll basically we are, as a company, will draft the petition for you. All right. Make sure that it's compelling enough, because it's not just a matter of just saying, oh, you know what, my name is Bob, I have a Bachelor of Commerce degree and I'm an accountant. No. Basically whatever you are putting in as a petition is basically a whole typical petition for EB2-NIW. It's a whole at least 50-page document, letter. It's called that petition, you put in an endeavor. You tell the US government what you will do for the US government. Are we together, guys? Right. Remember, the US government is giving you a chance to come here as a permanent resident without a job. Okay, so you have to tell the US government what you will do for them. They don't just want you to come here and then just chill, do nothing here as a permanent. They don't want that. What value are you bringing? You see, you are telling the US, I'm a valuable person. My talent, my skills, whatever I have, I'm so valuable that it's in the benefits of you to waive that labor certification process or the requirement for an employment sponsorship. Does it make sense, guys? So you have to have a very compelling petition, asking the US government, hey, look, this is what I have. This is why you need to give me a green card. If you don't do that, you are screwed. Your petition will not go anywhere. I know a lot of people will be out there, will be very excited about this process. I mean, this opportunity, but also remember, this is not really for anyone out there. It's not for anyone out there. And we'll talk more about that, the qualifications and all those things. Because like I said, the US government, they need to feel like if we give this person a green card, it will be in they will add value to our economy. They are not just giving you the green card, you just come here and do nothing. Okay. You have to understand that. You know, I always tell people in life, so because sometimes I always find people asking for favors and things like, I'm like, if you're asking for some favor, what are you bringing to the table? You know, the world doesn't work like that. So someone will never give you a free green card for you to come here and do nothing. Okay, they are giving you that green card because they know that you can utilize your skills. They are not that stupid. All right. And even if you follow, for example, what Trump has been also been pushing around in his this government for Trump, they are very much interested in people who add value. Okay, very much interested in people who add value. He doesn't want, and me, for example, if I put myself in the shoes of Americans, I would love something like that. People who are smart, people who add value to us as Americans. Americans love that. Okay, they don't want people who just will come here, try to kill them, like what happened yesterday. And for example, like that guy from Afghanistan, you know, there's all that. Maybe you can talk about later. I don't want to digress. So we offer step-by-step support from initial application to issuance of your green card. Okay. And also, we also help out with settlement and career support. So when you come here, even though you don't have an employer or you don't have a job, we said you're not just coming here just to sit at home and do nothing. Of course, you will come here and start looking for a job as a permanent resident. Okay. All right. So how do you even do that? How do you transition in coming here? So we'll be offering all that support for you to settle here, accommodation assistance, where do you stay? For example, if you want to come here in Florida, you'll be more than happy. In fact, actually, we really want to build our community here in Florida. Florida, by the way, for those who don't know, Florida is a very nice state. Florida is basically the Mombasa, for those who are from Kenya. It's like the Mombasa of Kenya, but much more cleaner, you know, nice, really nice weather. There is no snow here. There is, you know, nothing. So we basically want to create our community here in Florida. Okay, so you can be my neighbor. So I need as many neighbors as possible. So right now, actually, you have a huge community already of permanent residents. You have been supporting actually also green card people. We also be launching that, by the way, as part of this green card residency pathway. But that's not for today to talk about. We'll talk about later on. But yeah, we've already built a community here in Tampa, Florida. So I have a lot of neighbors, okay, who have come through the same program. Okay, but I want more. The more, the better. The more, the merrier. Huh? Yeah, so Florida, very nice place. You can Google. Very nice place to live. All right, so also part of what we are doing is, because this process also, and this is something also I really want you guys to understand, it's a very costly process. It doesn't come cheap. All right, so we understand that. So from the point where you start the process to the point where you actually get the green card, it's a very expensive affair. Then after that, you see now the process doesn't end there. So there's now that process of relocation. So going to the embassy, getting that visa, then after that, getting air tickets, accommodation, where you'll stay, all those things. So what we are offering as a program, we'll be offering you the financing. Okay, we can give you unsecured loan, relocation loan of up to $5,000. Once your case is approved, for you to be able to settle here smoothly. So that really helps a lot. Okay, it will help you with your air tickets, maybe accommodation for the first few months, because also when you get here, it takes time also before you get a job. You know, just because it's America does not mean like you land today and then tomorrow you are working. No. Okay, so also where are you gonna be staying? You know, all those things, you know, where is the money? So it's a process that requires money. And also as a program, we want to really support, because that's what we've been doing also. That's what we've been known for in our International Scholars Program, academic study pathway that we've been doing for the last 80 years, supporting master's students. So we normally give them money for the relocation, we pay for the air tickets, and then of course also through that pathway we normally also support them with their tuition and living expense, again also through unsecured student loan. So we want to extend the same thing to those who get their green card and they are coming here as permanent residents through the EB2-NIW. So how does that sound? Please, guys, let me know. If there's something that you love, just give me a thumbs up, clap for me, you know. It's not, I mean, out there, you'll never find anything like this. I can guarantee you 101%. There is nothing like this. There's EB2-NIW, of course, this industry of filing permanent residency. It's a very costly affair. Most organizations out there will charge you more than $10,000 to support your case, your petition, and help you through. And they'll never bother even to support you once you get on this side. So our program is unique. We understand what our people go through. All right, guys, I know when it comes to needs, in terms of financial needs, I know because I grew up in Kenya. I grew up in poverty, basically. I grew up in the village on the slopes of Mount Kenya with nothing, going to a local village public primary school, you know, having a lot of trouble finding school fees to go to the school of my choice, for those who know my story. So I understand the problems that our people go through. And that's why I created the International Scholars Program to help smart people out there like me to be able to find the opportunities to come to this country. And now we're expanding to other first world countries, UK, Canada, Australia, all that. Very soon we'll be able to cover all those countries, and we keep on expanding. All right, but we understand the pain when it comes to financial needs to come to relocate. It's a very costly affair. So as a program, we can help as much as we can. We may not be able to help fully when it comes to the financing, but we can be able to reduce a little bit of that burden. All right. All right. Thank you. I can see some nice comments. Thank you so much. That makes me feel good. This process is expensive. Even with our support, it's still an expensive process. Okay. So you have to find a way of finding whatever is needed, and we'll go through that. So also another really good feature about the program through us is because we don't charge anything extra to support your case in case there is an RFE. Let me talk about what that is. So when you submit a petition to the US government, there is different outcomes through the process. The case can be approved outright without asking for anything, any other further documents or anything like that. Or you can get a request for evidence. That is what RFE means. So request for evidence is basically, maybe they are not very convinced, and before they make any decision, they want to make sure that you can provide some more evidence to support your case. That is what RFE means. So typically, companies would charge request for evidence defense. They would charge for that. And guess what? With ISP, we don't do any charge. We'll support you throughout. Whether you get an RFE or not, we'll still support you without charging you anything extra. All right, so we'll basically defend your case at no extra cost. All right, now the other thing is, because this is a self-petition, you really need somebody holding your hand to submit a powerful petition, a compelling petition. And that's really what we do as International Scholars Program. As we understand the needs of our members, we understand the needs of our people. All right. And by the time we accept you into this program, we'll have vetted you to the extent that we are almost, even though we cannot guarantee that you can be approved, we'll be almost sure that you are somebody who can be able to get approved. All right. So one thing that we cannot afford to do in this program is basically to take in somebody who does not qualify for this thing. Okay. When it comes to our program and how I run the company as the CEO and managing director, we are usually very strict, even with the current, whatever we are currently doing for master's students and all that. All right. But this one, we are taking it a step further. All right. So there'll be some vetting process that we'll put in place to make sure that anybody who is interested in joining this program actually qualifies for the program. All right. So you don't want to make you happy just for you to get into the process, and then later on you go through this whole process. We've talked about how expensive this process can be, and then later on you get denied. Okay, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any business sense to us, and they should not make any sense to you, even though I know a lot of people get excited about this and they want to try. Okay, this one, there's no trying. We have to be very sure that actually you meet the qualifications, because the qualifications are very clear. Okay, the qualifications are very clear. So we'll address the requirements in our next slide, and who is eligible. I want to hear from you guys. If this thing resonates with you, let's keep going. Fantastic. Nice. Awesome. All right. Good. Can see some messages there. That's awesome. All right. Let's move to the next. So, of course, let's talk about money first before even we get to the qualifications. That's so that we can get this out of the way. Because I know a lot of you, they just want to hear how much this will cost and all those things. All right. Now, like I said earlier, this is an extremely expensive affair, and industry standards, you'll get charged north of $7,000, $10,000 to petition your case. That's the industry standards. So what we are offering as International Scholars Program, we are offering a fraction of that. This is basically your investment into this program, into this pathway through us is $3,100. That's what we charge as a consultation fee. And also it's the same you put into the, because how do we normally end up even giving you the $5,000 to be able to relocate? It's not like we get that money from somewhere in a bank or whatever. It basically, that's actually how the International Scholars Program actually works. even currently with our students. So you put in something small, but because we know the process of moving abroad is an expensive affair, typically for you to relocate as a single person, you need around $5,000. All right. So whatever you put in, we use that, we put it in a revolving fund, and we are able to support those who are leaving, because it's not like every day people are leaving. So that's actually the model that we normally have. We have a revolving fund. Okay, so there's $3,100. Even though we are saying, yes, it's going to be our consultation fee, we treat it as a contribution into the program so that we can be able to support those who are leaving, those who have been approved and they are leaving. They need 5,000. Okay, how we get a 5,000? I don't have anyone to give me that money so that I can give you. But that money comes from the pool, because this works pretty much like how insurance works. So a lot of people put in the money. Then, because not everyone is getting an accident on a daily basis, so there is a money enough to be able to take care of whenever somebody gets an accident. So it's the same concept in the International Scholars Program. All right. So wherever we offer relocation financing, we are basically using the money put into that pool. All right. All right. So basically, you're going to put in 3,100. All right. And we're going to do your RFE defense at no cost. So 3,100, you can do the math. Okay. Now, that is the money that is going to us as International Scholars Program. But there's other costs that are associated with this process. Again, that's why I said this process. This is okay, I want you guys to understand this. The EB2-NIW, this process is an investment that you are making of your future. Okay, if you don't look at it that way, these amounts will look crazy to you. Okay, I know the nature of human beings. Sometimes you look at the money part, but failing also to understand that this is an investment. It's like, for example, the way you would say, okay, I need to borrow money from Kenya Commercial Bank to put in a shop in Githurai to sell clothes, open one day in Taumoka. It's the same thing. Understand? It's the same thing. It's basically you investing in your own life. Okay, you are taking that chance to come to a different country. Unfortunately, the countries that you are born into, there's not many opportunities out there. And I can tell you for a fact that the US, of all, even with whatever is going on, and of all destinations that we might be having, I don't think there's any country that can really beat the US when it comes to the opportunities available for anyone, and especially for skilled people, people who have the brains. This is the biggest economy in the world. That tells you the amount of opportunities that are in this country. Sometimes people tend to talk, a lot about, oh, the US is overrated. No, this country is not overrated. If somebody tells you this country is overrated, tell them, hiyo ni story yako, because it's not. I've lived in this country for the last 16 years. And I can tell you for a fact that if you come to this country as a very smart person, some of these people, sometimes it's not always like, when you come to countries like these, utaomoka, it also all depends with your mindset. You as a person, me as Bob. There's a lot of people who come to these countries and they never go anywhere. All right. They don't become what they thought they would be. Because in as much as, yes, you are coming to a first world country, a country with so many opportunities, those opportunities, they are there. But if you don't take advantage of them and you just come here and do nothing, you'll end up being nothing. But you have to understand, this is a country that has a lot of opportunities. So if you are really interested, if you are interested in coming here and making your life better, there should be no one unless you are not convinced yourself. There should be no one who should convince you otherwise, because this country has the opportunities. Which other country in the world would create something like this? Let's even start from there. Which other country in the world, even your own country where you come from, would they create something like this? They won't. Why are these guys creating like this? Because they know that people will come here, they will build the economy, and these people, as they build the economy, they'll also benefit. It's a win-win situation for everyone. Understand that. It's a win-win situation for everyone. Even, for example, I always tell this, even with the students, the US actually loves international students. Because these are, no one can say no to a smart person. You understand this? You know, there's not many smart people out there in the world. You have to understand this thing. And I'm hoping I'm talking to smart people, brilliant people, people of intellectual ability, high intellectual ability. There is not many people out there in the world. In fact, actually, for example, you have a company like mine, International Scholars Program. The biggest headache that we normally have is basically hiring. Getting those people, highly talented people, is always a problem. You'll find, like, for example, we put out an advertisement for a job, you get like 500, 600, 1,000 applications, but you can't even find the right person to actually do that job. It's hard. You understand? It's very hard to get smart people out there. There's not many of them, and they are valued. So this country, they understand that. That's why they are giving this opportunity to smart people. This is not for just anybody out there on the street, just because you want to come to America. No. All right? This is not for anyone out there on the streets. They want people who can add value to the economy, and at the same time also, you better yourself as an individual. Make sense? Okay, understand, like, there's a lot of opportunities in this country. The US government even gives 50,000 DV lottery winners, green card, the other green card, the DV lottery. Which other country does that? You know, this is a $30 trillion economy, $30 trillion economy. The other day, I even posted on my social, for those who follow me. For example, the top 100 richest people in the world, 40% of them come from the United States. You think about it. The top 100, 40% of those people, they come from this. That should tell you something about this country. So somebody should not tell you, oh, the US is overrated. No, it's not. It is what it is. You understand what I'm saying? So, but you come here, and if you are not somebody who is willing to put in the work, you are someone who doesn't understand that, you have to know what you want in life. Of course, you'll come here and be nothing. There is nothing. I mean, it's not the fault of the US. It's your fault. Everyone is given the same chance. Even these guys, like, for example, Elon Musk, they came here as international students. They came like us. Me as Bob, I didn't come here as permanent resident. I came as a student. But I knew what I really wanted in life. Me, I've gone through poverty, man. I know what poverty is. Okay. I've lived that kind of life where you don't know what you're going to get the following day. So I've lived that life. So when I got here, I knew that I would take up the opportunities that are here. So it's the same thing for everyone. All right. So you have that opportunity for you. So this pathway is basically for skilled professionals, those who don't want to come here as students, spend money through school and all that. And you can petition yourself and your family, and you come here and look for opportunities here. You can come here, start businesses. Businesses here, by the way, thrive way much better than back home. We have a business in Kenya, we have a business here. Starting a business here actually it's basically a 10-minute application online, and you get approved, and you can start your business the following day. There is not all these, I don't know, licenses, I don't know what, whatever, all that nonsense that you have to go. There's so many hoops that you have to go through for even to start a business back home. This is a country that doesn't have all those things. Okay, so these are the opportunities that you are getting. If you come here, somebody who has the brains, man, you come here, you can start your own business. You don't even need anybody to employ you. Come here, set up your business with the skills that you have started. For example, if you are, let's say, for example, renewable energy person with those kind of skills, you can come here and start your own consulting business for renewable energy. You understand what I'm trying to say? So you don't need anybody to employ you. Maybe initially you need a job here and there for you to sustain yourself. But if you're somebody who loves entrepreneurship like me, man, you can come here and kill it. Have your own business, make some really good money. All right. Now, let's go next. So we've talked about, we're going to charge you $3,100. But I've told you guys, I know a lot of you will think, okay, this is a lot of money. It's not. It depends with how you look at things. What value are you getting? I've already told you our value proposition, okay? And compared to the industry standard, what we are giving you is basically a fraction of that. All right. And at the end of the process, once you are done, we'll give you a financing loan, unsecured, that you can be able to use for you to settle down here. All right. Okay. So let's go to the next thing. All right. Now, there is something called the 3-prong test. Now, we are getting deeper into what is really needed of you for you to get this approval for EB2-NIW. Okay, I told you guys, some of you are so excited about this whole thing, but this is not really for everyone. I have to be very honest with you. Okay, so even as you leave this webinar, and as you get so excited about these opportunities presented by International Scholars Program, think about these things. Now, we are getting into the meat of the EB2-NIW. Forget about the cost, forget about whatever, all those other things. This is the meat of this program or of this pathway. The 3-prong test. So, we talked about submitting a petition, writing a 50-page document that is compelling enough to the US government. Okay, but that petition that you put in must meet the 3-prong test. What does that mean? Basically, this means your petition or your profile as Bob or as whoever it is, Christine, Emily, whatever, your profile, whatever you submit to the US government, asking them to give you this green card, must be able to stand on 3 pillars. Prong is pillar. Okay, that's what a prong is. A prong is a pillar. So it's 3 prong. It's basically, for example, like the way you would have like a stool. Without one leg, the stool will fall. Guys, are we together? Please let me know if we are together. If you don't have one leg, the stool will do what? Will wobble. Are we together, guys? I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing any response on the chat or anything like that. I don't know whether I'm making sense. Okay, please, if I'm not making sense, please let me know. Because like I've told you guys, this can get a little bit technical. But I'm dealing with the intellectuals here. So I know if things get crazy, let me know and I can repeat. I can tell you things in a layman's language so that you can understand. Or somebody is saying it's getting tougher. No, it's not getting tougher. No, it's not getting tougher. You know me, I'm one of those people who actually, I love telling things the way they are. If you've interacted me with in any way, you know me. I'm like that. And that's how we run our business. Okay, we'll tell you exactly. Sometimes there are things that we'll tell you that maybe that's not what you want to hear. But we have to tell you. You understand? We have to tell you. We have to tell you. Sometimes you don't want to hear that, but you have to tell you. So anyways, I'll talk about the three-prong test. So even as you leave this webinar, please remember, three-prong test. These are the three pillars of your petition. Now, one, your work must have value and potential impact. It can be economic, health, tech, whatever, anything. It should be of substantial merit and have potential impact to the US. Again, to the US, not to your country, not to you, to the US, because they are the ones who are giving you the green card. Understand this. They are the ones who are giving you the green card. They are giving you that chance to come to their country and take up the opportunities. What are you bringing to the table? This is what you need to ask yourself. All right. This is what you have to ask yourself. So it must be of substantial merit. Your work, whatever you are doing, whatever you intend to do. Okay. So when I talk about submitting a petition, that petition normally has something called an endeavor. You tell the US basically what you will do once you get here. You may not do it, but you have to tell them like, hey guys, when I come with the skills that I have, I will do this and this and this for you, not for me. Not trying to tell them, oh, nitakuja huko alafu nijaribu kuomoka, I don't know, start what? No. If, for example, you say, I will come there and start a business, what is the value of the US government from that business? So that's how your mind needs to like think, eh? This is not your value, the value to the US, because they are the ones who are giving you this opportunity. Are we together? All right, so that's the first pillar. Your case must stand very firmly on the first pillar, substantial merit. That's number one. Number two, you must be well positioned to extend whatever skills that you have currently. Wherever you are, you must be well positioned to extend those skills into the US, okay, and help the US. So basically, you must have the skills and show, give a record of those skills. Like there should be some evidence that shows that you have the skills that you say you have, and you are, when they look at your case, you're in a position to further whatever you've been doing where you are into the US for the benefit of America. Make sense or not? Please, if it doesn't make sense, let me know. I will repeat. This is a webinar. I'm here to teach you. So I've said the first prong or pillar is substantial merit. Basically, your work must have value and potential impact to the US government. Okay, so if I'm saying, for example, I'm an engineer in renewable energy, if I'm presenting my case now to the person who is adjudicating this case, they'll be asking, now, this guy says he's an engineer in renewable energy. Is the work that he says he's done as an engineer, does it have value and potential impact to the better good of American people? If it's a no, there's no there's not like anything in between. It's either a yes or no. So if it's a no, They cancel that, your case done. If you tick that box, then they go to the next. Are you well positioned? If you are saying, for example, yes, I have put the work that I have put in, I can do this, and whatever your endeavor would be, of course, you are explaining what you do to America. But the next question will be, yes, you are saying you can help out with renewable energy, you identify all the, when they look at your background, whatever you say you've done, whatever is available to support your case, are you really well positioned to advance what you are saying you can do? That could be, for example, showing evidence of success, maybe as a renewable engineer. I'm just giving that example, or maybe some leadership roles that you've held. Remember, I said this is for skilled people. Are there, from your references, because we're going to talk about references as well, you're going to give references. In fact, actually, you require at least 6 references, 6. And this is not like, for example, if you really try to come to America as a student, there's usually, I don't know, some recommendation letter, just those basic recommendation letters. This is not those basic ones. This could even be a 3-page recommendation letter. That's why you need somebody like International Scholars Program to basically help you. Will help with drafting those recommendation letters. Do you have those references? Do you have people who are backing you up to say, hey, this person can do what they are saying? Please give them the green card. Make sense? Okay. So the next prong or pillar is, if we waive that, I told you, typically for EB2 category, you need an employer to sponsor you. So the third pillar will be, does the US actually really benefit by waiving that requirement for labor certification? Okay, so they look at your petition and see whether you are addressing that prong. In your petition, have you told the US how they'll benefit by waiving that labor certification? They could be in terms of independent contribution, because you are not depending on an employer, right? So you are going, you as Bob, to America. So coming here without any employer basically means you are not coming here to be employed, but the skills that, how do you position yourself here in America without any employment and being, in a way, actually also help America without any employment? So you are telling America, yes, waive that labor certification requirement for me. I don't need any sponsorship, or I don't need any employer, because if I come to America independently the way I am, I have huge contributions to make to the US economy. So basically, your independent contribution or project that you'll undertake, I told you, you will, in your petition, you will outline in very detail your endeavor, what you will do. It has to come out very clearly, and will help you with that. You don't have to worry about those things. That's the good thing. In fact, actually, that's why this thing costs a lot of money. Okay, that's what this thing costs a lot of money for somebody to help you draft your case and support you throughout the whole process. Leave alone giving you, I don't know, $5,000 for relocation as a loan, unsecured. Okay, the value when it comes to ISP is unimaginable. You cannot get anything anywhere like this, anywhere. Anything like this anywhere. You can't. But again, we are there to support you. Me, my story, I know the need of having somebody who can be able to support you, help you throughout the process. And we are ready to do that for you guys. Okay, so those are the 3-prong tests. All right, so your case must stand on all 3. If you've not shown, for example, whatever you'll contribute independently will benefit America, then the America will say, oh, you know what, they haven't shown us anything like this, then they need a sponsorship, then they'll cancel that. So that leg wobbles. So you are left with one leg. Maybe your case could end up being with one leg standing. So 2 legs down. So done. You understand? All right. And by the way, you know, maybe you may not get everything about this whole EB2-NIW, and that's okay, because this is the first time you're hearing about it and all that. But also, once you make an application, once you go through our handbook and you make an application, also you'll have a chance for a vetting process, and you'll also have a chance to ask questions, okay, with our team of experts, okay, about now this will be more tailored to you. And also we'll be having, like, you can have virtual consultations with our team, all right, you know, all that. We'll do everything to make sure, like I told you, we cannot really accept you if we are not sure that you can get this. Also, understand also, that does not necessarily mean that you'll get approval. I also want to make it very clear. But actually also, EB2-NIW, it's one of those pathways that historically have very high approval rates. Just understand that. Very high approval rates. Okay, so you don't want basically to go through this whole process when you're not really qualified. Okay, but also at the end of the day, we cannot guarantee you, because this is something that is beyond our control. I always like, even for example, even with our current pathway for students and all that, I always like making it very clear that, you know what, visas are never guaranteed and stuff like that. So you always have those disclaimers. That's normal for any business. If somebody tells you, oh, this is guaranteed, they are scamming you. Understand that. Because sometimes people will be like, oh man, this is not guaranteed. This is da, da, da. No. Don't freak out. That's usually how the world works. Okay. Like I told you, you can start a business, for example, today. There is no guarantee that that business will thrive. If anything, chances of you, for example, I'll just give you an example. For example, when it comes to business, 75% of businesses fail in the first 3 years. 75 here in America, I'm not talking about Kenya or whatever in Africa, here in America. But people still put in money. So that's what I'm telling you. This is an investment to you. And investment does not necessarily mean that you're going to get the rewards. But again, as International Scholars Program, we want to make sure that whatever investment that you are making, you have a chance. So that's why I say this is not for everyone. So we'll do a lot of vetting. All right. So eligibility number. So we've talked about the 3 prongs. Let's talk about the eligibility. Yeah? So eligibility number 1. This is an EB category. So you need an advanced degree. All right. So if you need an advanced degree, which degree? So typically people would assume, like a lot of people also assume, like it's for PhD people. No, it's not. This is the first one. You can have a master's. And just having a master's is you tick one eligibility criteria. Okay, you have a master's. Now, if you don't have a master's, don't freak out. You can actually qualify for this if you have a bachelor's degree plus 5 years. And by the way, let me also expound that it doesn't matter what your background is, by the way. Don't think this is for engineers, I don't know, tech, whatever, anything. You could be in arts, you could be a musician, you could be anything. Are we together, guys? So don't assume this is for like mathematicians, physicists, I don't know what. No, 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 no. All right. So you can actually have a bachelor. If you have a bachelor's and plus 5 years of experience, you're good for this. If you have that and less than 5 years, you're not qualified. Also, you may be very talented, but maybe you didn't do a bachelor's, for example. But if you can be able to show that you have at least 10 years of experience and some recognition along the way, then you can qualify. For example, this could be maybe, for example, like maybe like athletes, right? Okay. Maybe, for example, if you are one of those people, you've represented Kenya, or maybe you are so good, maybe you represented maybe your county at the national level in the athletics and stuff like that. So if you can be able to show that, yes, this actually can work for you. And then you can craft an endeavor that shows maybe you can work here, maybe help, sports. Like in the US also, sports is a big thing. They invest a lot in sports. So you can bring your knowledge in that area to help the US. Again, remember, it's helping the US, not helping you, right? Basically, any background, you just understand that any background, you're qualified. All right, so let's move on. Eligibility number 1. Let's go to eligibility number 2. So you must prove exceptional ability. Okay. If you don't have an advanced degree, and if you tick any of the 3, for example, any documentation that shows your experience, any licenses or certifications that you may have, evidence of high remunerations or high salaries, maybe you are a member of professional associations. Okay, your work has been recognized somewhere. All right. So in fact, actually, even for those who want to do this, start also documenting your work. If you do something, if you have some achievement in your work, in your area of expertise, get those certifications. They will mean a lot to support your case. Get those letters. Take screenshots of emails, maybe from your bosses, from wherever. If you participated maybe in, like, for example, events somewhere, all right? Those things, again, they don't want just anyone, just because you want to come here to America. No, they want people who can add value. All right? So if you get 3 of those, you're good. You're qualified. Now, the other eligibility is you have to show, of course, that you need the waiver of labor certification. We talked about that earlier, but this will be granted if your endeavor is innovative, okay, or the job is unique. Whatever thing that you want, basically, whatever thing that you want to do here is unique in a way. Okay, you need also to show there is limited professionals in your field or region, or whatever basically where you are coming from in that industry, there's usually a shortage of those kind of people with the skills that you have. And actually for this one, I would say it also depends with how much, because also there's a lot of research that needs to be done behind the scenes. That's why I said anyone can qualify with any background, but also part of what we have to do is doing a lot of research, trying to figure out all these things that we are talking about. So if, for example, we accept you, we know that you can meet all these. That's what you need to understand. Like if we tell you, yes, you qualify for this, we know once we've accessed you, we know that you can meet these things. So we'll do our research and basically put in the petition showing that there's this and this and this. There's a reason why, this is the reason why the US government should waive the labor certification. You can even talk about even having self-employment, for example. If you are self-employed, can your work create impact? Can your work create impact without negatively affecting the labor market? Things like those. These are stuff that will help you. You don't have to figure out those things. Okay. So you can also say, for example, what will be your contributions? Maybe advancing research in some specific areas, okay, starting a business, creating jobs, training Americans, creating jobs for Americans. What skills do you have for you to start a job? Things like those. If you're in art and whatever, so how can you exhibit whatever artistic work that you have that can be beneficial to the US government? Okay, if you compete in sports, how does that really help the US government so that they are willing to waive the labor certification? Make sense? I hope it does. Somebody is asking, what about church ministries? I said anything. Anything. It's basically how compelling your case is. Anything. Are we together? Anything. You even think about what issues could be there when it comes to religion and churches and stuff like that for America that you can solve for them. You know, like I said, I'm talking to intellectuals here. Even as you go home, ask yourself, if you think you're qualified for this, start asking yourself, what can I do to America? Okay, what can I show to America that I can solve something for them? All right, solve something for them. All right, now who can apply? Anyone. That's what I said. Age limit, we don't care. Anyone also. All right, English requirement, it doesn't matter how broken your English is. It could be like mine with a very heavy accent from Meru. No one cares. Okay, no one cares about that. What they are caring about is the brains. Key thing here is brains. Brains, guys, are we together? If you don't have the brains out. I hope I'm clear on that. All right, and you must demonstrate that your proposed work will serve the US national interest. That's the main requirement. And I've told you many times, like, even as you leave this webinar, please ask yourself, the work that you intend maybe to do in America, okay, will it serve the US national interests? Not your interests. I know you guys want to come here and make some moolah. All right, not your interest, right? You have to show the interest of the people who are giving you that green card. Now, this is what we do as a program. We'll guide you, coming up with the evidence that you need and all the documentation. It's a very rigorous process. In fact, actually, even what we are charging, I feel like is too little, but also because the program is starting, also we have to, give like really good, offer like really good cost there, but who knows? Maybe after a few years, might go up a little bit. Because honestly, no one can touch your case with $3,100 in this industry. No one. You're not even talking about supporting you later on with finances and all that. No one can touch your case with that kind of money. It's a lot of work, a lot. All right, a lot of work. So, so documents, this is what's gonna be required of you. We'll walk you through this with our team for those who will be interested and all that. Okay, somebody is asking, is the 3,100 inclusive of the petition cost? We'll talk about that. We haven't finished them. So also, we'll help with drafting the letters of recommendation. So you don't really have to do all that. We'll do all that to you. We'll do follow-ups with your recommenders and all that. So we help with all those things. So, but we'll need 6 recommendation letters. 6. Are they 6? Yeah. Of course, also, as part of the preparations, we'll inform your recommenders in advance what they need to work on. Basically, once we draft those unique recommendation letters, they just need to leverage that, put them in their letterheads and whatever, and then they can just send to us. It makes things much more faster, basically. All right. I also do follow-ups and stuff like that. So, how will be your journey through this pathway? First, we'll work with you to confirm your eligibility. So usually you have to apply. You'll have to apply through our website, submitting an application. We'll talk about the cost for that as well. It's usually $20 to submit an application. It's going to be $20 for us to look at your qualifications. It's not free. Okay. So, and we'll see whether you qualify or not. As part of the application also, you will have to go through a vetting process. So once you submit an application, we'll schedule a virtual vetting interview or session with you, okay, on Zoom with our team. And we'll get to understand, based on whatever document that you'll have provided in your application, we'll also make sure that we understand everything about your qualifications, because we don't want to approve you and then you start the process and yet you are not qualified. So if we feel that you're not qualified, we'll just reject you. If we feel like maybe there are some things that you can work on and you can qualify at some point, we can give you a conditional approval. And we feel like everything looks good, we are very confident, we'll approve you outright. But you'll have to go through that vetting process. All right? And it's going to cost you $20 to apply, just $20. So after that, once you get approved and you join the program, we'll now build your case. You'll have pathway advisory sessions with our team and try to build your case to meet all the 3 prongs. Remember the 3 prongs that we talked about? 3 prongs. Always remember that. 3 prongs. Yeah. We'll make sure we do a thorough check of your documents, make sure you have everything, all those things. If you have any publications, you will need to see that. It's not a requirement that you have publications, but if you have them, the better for you. Basically, proof of evidence that whatever you are claiming is actually there. The last thing we want is somebody claiming things that they are not, just because you want to come to America as a permanent resident. Again, I said it's a very costly process. please save yourself your money and the time, and also save us the time also, because you don't want to deal with those cases, unfortunately. Also, as part of that, we'll also craft your endeavor, basically your proposal or your petition. Also, after that, then we'll file the case to the USCIS. It's called filing the I-140. It's basically now the actual petition. Okay, filling some paperwork and help you fill whatever you need to fill them up. Then you have to sign it, because it has to be this EB2-NIW has to be basically, it's your own petition. So we can't really sign for you. You have to do it. We'll guide you on how to do it, sign the paperwork, then we can file for you, help with the filing, send it from here. All right. Now, then, of course, there'll be now the review of the case, and the case now will undergo the processing. Now, this process can take several months. And like I said earlier, there's something called request for evidence. They might ask for request for evidence, RFE. If they do that, we'll defend you at no extra cost. All right. Now, there's costs. Somebody was asking about the cost outside of what we discussed, what you are paying us to help you with this petition. There's costs that are associated with the process, and these costs are directly to the government, not to us, to the government, or maybe preparing your documents. All right. So to file the petition, filing I-140, there is the fee of $715. Then there is asylum program fee of $300. That goes directly to the government. All right, so a total of $1,015 that will be paid to the USCIS. USCIS is basically the organization that normally manages immigration, work for the US government. It's called United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, something like that, if I'm not wrong. Then, finally, once you get approved, if you're in the US, you'll do something called adjustment of status. If you're outside the US, you basically do something called consular processing. You'll submit a visa application form and all that, go to the embassy and for an interview, and then you'll get your green card. That's usually the process for getting the green card for anyone. Okay, it's not different from anyone. Just like the way, for example, people win green card lottery, they go through the same thing. It's the same process. All right. Now, we said your investment here into this program through us, it's $3,100. You can actually pay this in 2 installments. First installment, $2,100, second, $1,000, and this needs to be paid within 30 days after enrollment. So give you 30 days to do that. And then without having paid the full $3,100, we can't really start your petition. Okay, once you pay the $2,100, you'll go through some initial preparations, orientation, documents, whatever, all those things. But to actually start the case, all right, starting the case, we can't do that until you're paid fully. So the first installment basically secures your position, and you'll go through the orientation, you'll go through detailed program guide, what's really is needed and things like those. We'll do a check of your documents, and of course, you'll go through pathway advisory. Basically, you'll meet with someone like me in our team who will walk you through what is really needed, what this is all about. Of course, you're assuming, of course, you already know, since you can't be joining the program without understanding what this program is all about, but you still have to go through a lot of advisory through our team to guide you through on what is really needed of you. So the final installment, if you are paying by installment, you don't have to pay by installments, by the way. But if you are paying the installment, the final $1,000 will trigger your petition preparation. So we start now drafting the case, all right, and prepare it for submission to the USCIS. Now, there are some important policies that you have to understand, just like with any program out there. So one, full scope. So the $3,100 that we are charging covers personalized support, document preparation, legal drafting of your case, all right, and petition submission. And of course, basically you're once done with the program, once done with your case and it's approved, we'll basically support your relocation, logistics, settlement, all that stuff. Now, there's also, you have to understand that it's separate fees for the government. One of them I've showed you. I'll show you a few others, but that's the main one that I've showed you, $10, $15, but there'll be a few more. We'll talk about that shortly. You said that installment is 30 days. You have to finish your installment within that days. And your work basically begins. We cannot really start the case until the full payment is made. So those are important policies. Now, we also have a refund policy or philosophy. When it comes to refunds, really, if you've really interacted with us in any of our programs, we like being very transparent, okay? You make sure that everybody understands what they are getting through, all right? So we are committed to transparency, and there's a refund policy. We'll handle all refunds based on whatever policies that we have for that part. And whatever the policy that we have when it comes to refund is basically based on the administrative work that we have to do to prepare the case, process it, and all the effort that we have to put in. Now, if you've paid through card, there is always a card processing fee of 5%, but if you paid by M-Pesa, you don't have to pay anything. There's no processing fees. But card, yes, there's all that. If you really need refund, okay, that'll be that. So now this is the refund policy specific terms. So application fee, I told you, for us to be able to look at your profile, you have to submit an application, and through that application process, you'll go through some vetting process. We charge $20 for us to be able to do that work. It's a lot of work also, okay, for us to go through it, trying to figure out whether you're qualified or not, vet you and all that, okay? It's just $20 that you have to pay. Again, you can pay by M-Pesa, by card. You'll have all those options on our website. And if you withdraw from the program within 3 months of joining, but before we start working on the petition, refundable amount is $1,500. Non-refundable amount is $1,600 out of that $100. All right. Other terms. If you withdraw within 3 months after joining, after we started working on the petition, because you could join, but within 3 months, we've already started drafting your petition and all those things, will not refund you the full $3,100. Same thing also, if you withdraw from the program after 3 months, even though we haven't started drafting your petition, but of course we've held all those initial whatever, but it's after 3 months also, $3,100 is non-refundable. So what does this tell you? This tells you that we really want committed participants. You have to be very committed, okay? If you feel like this is not for you, we don't really want to deal with that kind of a participant, okay? You don't want those people who are always like one leg in. Maybe you are trying something else, and then at some point you are like, okay, I just want to get out now. No, if you get out after 3 months, unfortunately, you won't be able to get in it. Because like I said, there's a lot of work involved with all this, a lot of research work and all that goes into basically having a case petitioned. So typically, how does refunds work? With it, you have to submit an official withdrawal from the program. It's through our portal. Once you become a member, you'll be having access to our system. You do that. And actually, we can take as much as, typically we try not to take this long to refund, but generally, you can refund within 4 months. But don't expect, like, for example, if you submit a refund today, like you get the money tomorrow. No. Okay. It can take up to 4 months, but we try to do as much as possible to refund you as fast as possible. But yeah, just be aware of that. Also, all the payments to the government are non-refundable. And again, card payments, they normally attract 5% processing fee in case of a refund. So government fees, they are usually separate. They are paid directly to the government. Examples of them include the filing fees, the I-140, visa application, any medical exams, cost of, and also the other costs that are associated with the process, printing your documents. There'll be biometrics once you've been approved and you are going through the process, consular processing, there's all that. Also, case by case, things can vary depending with maybe how many people, how many people maybe are accompanying you, right? In your journey, maybe you have a family, you want to come with your wife and kids. So once you get to the point where you'll be processing your visa, the cost might be higher. All right. There's be in as much as yes, we are saying we won't charge you RFEs, okay, to defend it, but there might be costs associated with an RFE. Let's say, for example, you get an RFE saying you have your qualifications, they need to be evaluated by a certain credentialing organization. So that cost, it can't be from us. It can only be from you, but it's part of the RFE. Understood? All right. Now, also by the way, you can make if, for example, you get denied, you can appeal your case. Okay, if you have good ground, you can appeal your case. And of course, you can always get. Again, like I said, this is one of those things that we can't guarantee everything 100%. But if you find us accepting you, just know, we know that this is a case that has a chance of getting approved. All right? Yeah. Now, so estimated costs, USCIS fees. If you are applying outside the US, for example, if you are out there in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, wherever in Africa, these are the costs. We talked about the filing fee, $715, asylum fee, $300. If, for example, once you get approved, this is DS-260 filing, this is your visa, it's $345 per person. If it's just you, there'll be some medical exams that you have to do. It can cost between $200 to $500. Once you get your green card, when you get here, by the time you get here, you'll have to pay $200 to $220 per person. We can do that for you as part of the loan that we'll give you for the relocation. So basically that loan, we can only offer you once your case is approved. So we can pay for you. It can be used to pay for your visa. It can be used to pay for this immigration fee. It can be used to pay for your air ticket, those things. Basically settlement costs. All right. Now, also, this process, if you do something called premium processing, once we submit your case to USCIS, you can do something called premium processing, asking them to speed up your case. And that can be, the decision can be made within 45 days. If you do that, it's gonna cost you $2,805. If you don't do that, and I highly advise, if you're investing in this thing, invest also in premium processing. If you don't do that, your case can stay for a very long time. We are talking even a year plus, basically. Estimated cost if you're applying inside the US. For example, those who are here, they are students through maybe our program, or they're just here. This is the cost, change of status. If you want advanced parole is where you're asking the government to give you documents for you to be able to travel. That will be the cost. If you need employment authorization, that will be the cost and all that. So that will be the cost. Without optionals, $2,000 to $3,400. With optionals, $6,000 to $7,000. And then add our cost. All right. Now, this is the relocation timeline. Now, Immigration petition case preparation can take up to 3 months and no premium processing involved. Preparation, basically this means our work as ISP. We don't want to do it more than 3 months, but it can take up to 3 months. Petition approval, it can take up to 9 months. It can take longer. But if you do premium processing, it will take you 45 days. Your case has to be adjudicated within 45 days. But remember, there's $2,805 we talked about for premium processing. But I would highly encourage you to do that. All right. Now, if in the US, your adjustment of status can take up to 14 months, but also you can ask for employment authorization 4 months, parole and all that. Consular processing. Now, this is for those who are somewhere in Africa, right? And you are doing consular processing. This, I can see some people waiting in the single. So consular processing can take up to 12 months. Basically, after you get approval, another 12 months before you go to the embassy, or even more. All right. So this is one of those processes that you need a lot of patience. A lot. So if patience is not part of you, this may not be for you. So basically, from the point when you join this process, to when you potentially come to America can take between 2 to 3 years. All right, 2 to 3 years. Yeah. So it's not a process that you are starting today and next month, oh, you're like, oh, next month, I'll be in America. No, 2 to 3 years, which is okay. Okay, it's a long process. So be ready for that. Okay, long process. Be ready for that. So anyway, so there's this, we've created this Telegram group for that, for those who are interested. Why is it not copying? So okay, I'm sharing it in the chat so you can join. It's a Telegram group. It will also be part on the website once we launch this in January, but you can join now. I've just shared on the chat. So that's the first step. Just we'll be answering questions there, responding to you guys. So please join. I have put on the chat right there. And how to enroll, you basically apply online through our website. It's www.internationalscholarsprogram.com. But again, you can't do this until January 1st. But please join that group because that's where we'll be answering our team will be there to answer any questions that you have. So we've created that Telegram group. It's Telegram because we don't want to be limited by WhatsApp and all that because of the numbers. Okay, so Telegram works for us well because of the sheer number of people who are usually interested in what we do. Okay, then of course, you make your contribution and we start the case. Okay, let me go quickly through. Travel and logistics, those are things that we normally support. Also, we'll be supporting you as part of being in the program, and we'll help with the relocation financing. So in case you have any questions, also you can visit our offices. Of course, those who are in the US can come to Tampa. In Kenya, you can go to our Nairobi office at the Mirage Towers in Westlands. You have an office in Meru also, Royal Business Park, 7th floor. We also have regional offices. We have an office in Uganda, Kampala. And we also have an office in Arusha, Tanzania. So you can always visit us there and ask questions about this. So any questions, any concerns, please let me know. I'll try to stop sharing. All right, so guys, I can still see we have quite a number of people still here, 160 something. So ask questions, ask me questions. I've given you the link to the Telegram group. Please join. I can see people are joining that Telegram group. Please join. If you are very serious about this process, please join that group. A lot of people have joined. I can see a lot of people have joined. That's good. We'll also be sharing this webinar as a recording on our YouTube channel for those who didn't have a chance of joining us today. And again, also, we are open. Like, we know this is one of those processes that somebody needs to really understand how the process works. We'll be there for you. Okay. We'll answer any questions. We can even schedule virtual consultations with us at no extra cost. We want to make sure that anybody who's joining the program really understands all the implications. There's qualifications, there's money involved, right? There's all those things that we've talked about. There's patience also, right? So actually 3 years, it's not a long time. It's not a long time. Because typically also, even for example, if you win a DV lottery, it takes 2 years. For example, if you hear like DV 2027, it basically means you are applying for DV now, but you'll come to America in 2027. That's, for example, DV for this year. It's like 2 years. Normally, like, it's usually named 2 years into the future. So this is usually a very long process. So brace yourself, up to 3 years. It could be less, could be even be more. You never know. Some of these things you can never really be sure, but yeah. So at least that should be the timeline. Because normally once you get approved, the visa has to be available for you. You cannot just go to the embassy just like that without the visa. Yeah, somebody is asking something. So who is this? Just write on the chat. I don't want people to ask questions talking, because sometimes it becomes an issue. But ask questions on the chat. I'll read them and answer you. Age of children is a time of application or approval. At the time of moving to America, they have to be at least 21 years, below 21 years at the time of moving. By the time you go to the embassy seeking the green card, your kids should not be older than 21 years. So when you're once you get the approval, you're filling the DS-260, you list your kids there that you want to travel with and things like those. How long does the process take if you are in the US? Also in the US, I think I've already showed you that even also that process takes time. It can also take 2 to 3 years, because there's a process of basically getting the visa, which is pretty much the same for everyone. Once you get the approved, then you have to wait for your visa to be available, which is the longest wait. Then for those in the US, they have to wait for change of status. I said it's about up to 14 months change of status to be processed. But once you submit your change of status, if you're in the US, you can get your work authorization. You can also submit the parole request, and you can be able to travel. Okay, so yeah. Once you get your parole and your work authorization, you don't need, the green card can stay forever. I mean, the change of status can stay as long as it wants, right? So what is really necessary is for you to be able to work and be able to travel. You can be able to go home, come back, like that, with the advanced parole. It's a very nice document. I actually had it when I was processing my green card, because I didn't know how long. Usually before that, like I-485, there's no premium processing. The change of status, it used to take less than 6 months, our days. But you know, you are talking about when did I do my green card? I got my green card in 2016. So I started the process, I don't know, in 2014, maybe 15. So 10 years ago. We are veterans in this country. Huh? All right, so is there an age limit or cap to be part of the process? No, I said no. Maybe you are not here by that time. There is no age limit. Anybody is, as long as you're qualified, you're good to go. Can someone shift from ISP student program to EB2? Yes. So if you are a student and you want also to shift to EB2-NIW, if you're part of our process, so we look at what you contributed. We can shift the whatever is left in your account into these other process, and then you can top up the rest. All right. If I previously got a denial, visa denials have nothing to do with this. If you had a visa, people get visa denials all the time. Visit visa, student visa, whatever it is. This is a petition to become a permanent resident. You are basically wanting to come to the US as an immigrant. If at the time of application I had 5 years, a bachelor's degree and 5 years of experience, and I enrolled after starting the process for a master's degree while the application has commenced, will I still be eligible? So if you meet one of the requirements that we talked about at the time of applying to us, you qualify. Whether you go and do other things, it doesn't matter. As long as at that time you are meeting any of those requirements that I showed you, then you qualify. All right. For those with medical background, do we have to get certified by various boards in US before enrolling? So normally you have to go through a medical, you have to do some medicals for you to get a green card, whether you're in the US or even you are doing the processing back home. When you are doing the processing back home in your country, the US government will designate the physician that you'll have to visit. That's usually what happens with green cards. So you'll have to go through that. I don't know which medical conditions normally they don't accept people. Maybe that's something that you can actually do. Just Google what medical conditions would not allow you to get a green card in America. Just Google. It's something that you can get within minutes. Okay. Yeah, but you have to do medicals, and you can't just do medical with anyone. They are usually designated by the government so that there is no fraud. Okay. All right. Okay, let me see. Okay, somebody is asking, could you please also comment on the EB2 employment option where ISP can file as an employer for those already in the US in addition to EB2-NIW? Yes, we can be able to file for you if you don't meet the qualifications, because there's so many young people out there, maybe they don't meet the qualifications and they're already in the US, right? And you don't meet the qualification for EB2-NIW, all the qualifications, remember, it's not just like academic. You could have academic, yes, but you don't have all these other requirements that we talked about, showing that you can be able to advance your work and all that because of your limited age and all that. I had made the Thanksgiving message in our WhatsApp group, and I talked about it. So maybe what you need to do is ask those questions in that group. We'll be more than happy to answer them. I had said, if you can be able to find an employer who is willing to subcontract your work through our sister company, we can file for your case. I think that was very clear in that message. Okay, but if you have any questions, you can always ask. We already have a platform there that you can ask those questions. Yeah. All right. All right, cool. Sorry, I joined late. Have you talked about nutrition? I said anyone is qualified, so you can watch this video, this webinar later on. It will be on our YouTube channel maybe by tomorrow, so you can just sit down relax, watch it fully at your free time. Somebody is saying, I believe the question in regarding medical background like nurses, doctors. Okay. No. I mean, for you to qualify for this, you don't need, for example, NCLEX and stuff like that. No. If you have them, well and good. Remember also being part of professional organization, like being member of professional organizations, like for example, NCLEX, CPAs, and all those things. Of course, it adds value to your case, but not necessary. But let's say, for example, you come here as a nurse and you haven't done your NCLEX, of course, and you want to work as a nurse later on, right? You'll need to do the NCLEX. So if you are really interested in this process, why don't you start that NCLEX process as well? As you do your EB2-NIW, go through the EB2-NIW process with us. It's gonna take 3 years. During that time, do your NCLEX. Since you want to be a nurse here, do those things, right? That's how you do it, right? All right, okay. So kindly share the Telegram link again. So you go through the chats. You guys, you don't want to go through the chats. Okay, there you go. For those with medical, okay, even for us psychologists, you have to apply to APA. Yeah, but again, like those things, for you to go through this process, you don't need them. But for you to work in the US in that field, you need that. All right. Any other questions? Any concern? I can see you have 150. That's like 75% of the people who are joined this webinar. So that's a good thing. Let me see another question. I've just shared. Any other one? Any other questions? Any concerns? Someone in the security field, is this still viable? When you say security field, like you have a bachelor's in security, whatever, all that. Yes, we said anything. There's even somebody who asked about like, what if you're like in the church ministry? Anything. But you need to show what really matters is what you tell, your petition, your endeavor. You have to tell the US government how your work benefits America. What gap are you seeing? So that's where a lot of our work comes in, figuring out that gap that you are trying to fill in and showing the US you can help the US government by allowing you to come here as a permanent resident because you have the skills and you can be able to help with these issues that are there. There's always issues. It's basically how you structure your case, which we are the experts in this. That's why we are there for you. Okay, you don't like this thing, you're not like figuring things out by yourself. We'll do it for you. Your work is basically to sign, to follow up, maybe recommenders, tell us, okay, who are your recommenders, but even drafting recommendation letters, because you see, normally, when it comes to even recommendation letters, to have somebody draft for you a 2-3 page document recommendation letter, it's a challenge. People don't have the time to do that. If you come to me and start telling me, okay, Bob, please, I need the recommendation letter. I'm doing this green card thing. Please do this for me for about 3 pages. Where is all the time to do all that for you? I don't have the time. People are like that. No one has all that time. No one has all that time. So we'll do that for you. We'll draft for you. And all you need to do is just basically reach out. We also help out with reaching out and say, hey, this is the process this person is going through. Please leverage whatever we've given you and put in your letterhead, whatever, and give him so that you can do the case. You got it? Yeah, so you are basically sitting there, understanding the process and all that, and we are working together as we do all the donkey work. Are you together? Yeah. People ask me all kinds of, like, how many times am I going to repeat this thing? How about accountants? I said anything. Guys, are we together? Anything, any field, you're qualified. People don't like you guys, like you don't trust your background. In fact, actually, even one of the cases that we did for somebody who got approved, our pilot, he was an accountant in Kenya. He was an accountant. He worked with a lot of, I think his endeavor was about supporting ERP, all that stuff. Accounting systems, basically. Okay, so we crafting that endeavor is our work. That's why I said anything. Answer this. Is it possible to relocate with a 4-year-old? I said you can relocate with anyone who is below 21 years of age. Okay? So you're good. 4-year-old, yeah. But you cannot relocate with your side chick, mbaba, mama, those ones, You understand what I'm saying, Sugar mummies, sugar daddies, it has like a it has to be somebody that you are married to, a spouse, real spouse. Okay, don't try to get this thing, and then the next thing that you are like, you're getting somebody and telling them, oh no, you're gonna be, pretend that we are married and things like those. You're gonna get this denied later on at the embassy. So if you try to do that, so be truthful, man or woman. Okay, so don't try to, have your whatever, Success, someone is asking about success rate in the pilot. This was 100% success rate for us. We have 5 cases that we've submitted, 3 of them approved, 2 still pending because the ones that we are processing, they didn't want to do premium processing, so it's still ongoing. But that tells us because we really didn't want to launch this thing until we know that what we are doing is right. Okay. Yeah. So 100% approved, but there are 2 cases pending. Is it 2 or 3? I think we have 1 more case that we just submitted. 3 cases pending, 3 approved. I said typically EB2-NIW approval odds are really good. But again, also, when you see us accepting you, and because we know you can get approval, and if you don't get, you can still appeal and somehow get it. It's like you have a chance, basically. If you don't have a chance, we are not going to touch you. All right. Make sense? This other one, Davis Jaberi. Talk of Trump messages concerning third world countries. I knew this. I knew this one would crop up. Okay, so just to give you a perspective. So yesterday was Thanksgiving here in the US, all right? And there was somebody from Afghanistan who shot National Guard. National Guard are more or less like police or military in America. I think killed 2 people. That person came to America through a program that Biden signed to bring Afghanistanis, or what do you call them? People from Afghanistan who helped the US when they were fighting with the, what do you call them? Those people that they were fighting with in Afghanistan. You guys who know this, the war in Afghanistan. All right. So Biden, the US government created a program to bring those people. So of course, there's those bad omens that came in. It's basically like trying to bring part of the people that are your enemies to bring them here. So Trump was not happy about it. Now, he said he would pause third world. So he grouped everyone into third world. That's the way he normally does it, right? But actually, he said he would pause. Pause, does it mean stopping? This EB2-NIW, this is a program that was created by an act of Congress in 1990. So it's something that has to go through the Congress for it to start. Maybe Trump, what he can do to something like, which I don't see, because you see, I told you, like for the US, anything that adds value to them, even in that, I watched the message, actually what he was saying. People don't have value to the US. People who have no asset to the US is basically what he doesn't like. I want you guys to understand these things. So don't just because there's all hula baloo out there, this, that. Take things and try to understand. And it's good that you're asking these questions so I can explain to you. So the US government, it's not like they don't want people like, that's why this thing was created. Smart people who can come and actually help the US economy. You are very valuable to the US economy. The last thing that can happen to this would be like the last program that you can think of being stopped. You understand? By anyone. Remember, even Trump, even whatever measures that he's trying to do, actually, he tries to get rid of those people, joyrinders, those people who don't add any value to the US economy because of whatever was done by previous regimes and all that. Because like those guys from Afghanistan, people from Haiti, they came here, people from Venezuela, all these countries that have a lot of problems, they created some green card pathways for them. So those are the things that most likely gonna stop. And he has done this before. Even there's countries that are banned from coming to the US. Okay, countries that are usually having a lot of problems. Libya, I don't know what, a few African countries, those, because of Somalia, and I don't know, I think Somalia is banned. I think so, yeah. I think South Sudan too. Sorry, South Sudan. There's a few countries, Yemen, all those, because the US see them as enemies, basically. Iran, Iraq, whatever, all those. So, again, also, this process takes at least 3 years. So also 3 years, Trump won't even be there. He only has 3 years left. Okay. So, again, also, it depends with how people want to look at things. So there's always people who are usually very pessimistic about things. All right. It's the way the humans are wired. So if you're one of those who are like, oh, let me wait and watch. It's okay, you wait. But this is one of those things. I don't think there's any issue with this process. EB2-NIW. This is one of those things that US actually needs. You have to understand that. But if you look at things in a very negative way, I always like those question marks. It's basically the same way normally in life. That's how it normally is. You'll find people who will be like, me, I don't want to do this. Me, I don't want to start a business because there's so much risk. No risk, no gain. If you want to wait until Trump is out of the office, yes, wait. It's 3 years later. You can start the process and take another 3 years. Somebody is asking, you mean if I start the process with you, it will take 3 years? We say this process can take between 2 to 3 years. Yes, this is a long process. Not with us, with anyone. This process will take at least 2 to 3 years. You can start this process even if you are going through the student process. This has nothing to do with the student process until once you get approved for your petition. Okay. Somebody is saying Jesus, like they're like this process. It's not long process. Green card, I even explained, even with the DV lottery. The time you submit a DV lottery to the time you actually come to America, it's usually at least 2 years, at least. Coming to America as a permanent resident is a long process. Understand these are not processes that normally you come within 6 months, Apana. It's not like that. So if you understand those dynamics, you'll be fine. You have to be somebody who is very patient with processes. Just let the process work itself. All right. Cost of the program, it's 3,100 to us and other costs associated with filing with the government. If you are late for this because you're asking this question because I think you are late, just rewatch the whole presentation on our YouTube channel. It's going to be shared there maybe by tomorrow or maybe over the weekend by Monday. All right, guys. So I think that's pretty much it. Any questions, any concerns you can ask in the Telegram group. If you haven't joined, our team can share again, please. Our team, please share the link one last time. Let me try to see if I can share that. The link is there. Just share the link. So thank you so much. If this information was beneficial to you, please let me know on the chat, right? Don't just leave without saying, hey, Bob, this was really good information. We enjoyed. Or Bob, you're so boring, right? Can imagine it's already 2 hours being here, speaking and talking like a parrot. It's not easy, guys. It's not easy. But we do this because we are very passionate about this. Me, I love dealing with smart people, by the way. Me, if there's one thing that I love and I get fascinated about, is dealing with smart people. All right, I can spend hours and hours explaining things to smart people. Okay, I don't have no problem with that. All right, so people are saying, yeah, thank you so much, Bob. Thank you, sir. Always a vibe. Baraka sana, barakatena. David Mundani, thank you. That was very informative. Thank you. It's been amazing. Thanks, be blessed. Great session. I know so many people can qualify. I'll spread the word. And by the way, yeah, so there's so many people out there. There's a lot of skilled people out there. And people are not doing so well. There's a chance for them to come here and see the world. Look, I mean, once you get to that 5 and 40 and things are not working out, just come and try things in a new country. This is what this is giving you, right? It's giving you a chance to come figure things out again, because life is not always a straight line. There's a lot of challenges in life. Actually, when you get to that 5 to 40, that's when you start realizing, what? Things are crazy. Before then, in the 20s, you don't know much. You're just moving with life the way it's moving. So, but once you get to that 5, around there, 40, that's when you start seeing things happening. Having kids, a lot of responsibilities, others going through divorce and all those. That's when people get a lot of those problems. So also, it could be a way of even running away from those toxic. Could be a way of you running away from a toxic relationship. I mean, seriously, that's what I'm trying to say. So it is what it is, man. So all those things around that age, when you already have 5, 10 years of experience, you've been out here, things, but things are not working out, it's high time to move to a different countries. Then what could be better than America, man? Even with Trump being there, Trump has nothing to do with your life here, okay? So don't always give excuses. Oh, I don't want to go to America when Trump is there. Trump has nothing to do with your life, even if it was Biden or whoever. Your life is your life. It's never influenced by anybody. Okay, yes, they can come up with policies and things like that, but I can assure you, if you are a really smart person, everyone wants smart people. And I've explained to you, what is not needed is those bad characters, those ones. Students, whatever, these are people who are valuable. And this program is for people. Remember what we talked about? They want somebody who is valuable to the economy. That's what this program is all about. All right, guys, thank you so much. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.